Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me for Win the Day. Welcome to everyone on my YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing. All of you listening from your favorite podcast. The podcast is called 100K Challenge Chick if you have not yet found it. And for all of you who are joining me live on Facebook, welcome and good morning. It is Win the Day. I'm here live on Facebook every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. to address some issues to help us stay on track so that we're breaking the 100K income ceiling in our businesses. I'm Tanika D'Souza, the 100K Challenge Chick, and my entire mission is to empower more women to earn the income that they want in their businesses. It's crazy to me that we sacrifice so much to be in business, our time with our families, former careers, all of these things, and we don't see the income that we should. So I'm here to really help you see that that is realistic. This is something that you can accomplish. It's not a foreign concept, and you just need the proper tools, systems, coaching, community in order to get it done. So welcome, welcome, welcome. For the last few Win the Days, we have been just really going in on some things related to helping you stay focused, helping you really understand what you're doing so that you are moving forward. The reason for that is because I'm seeing themes in my coaching sessions. People are being forced to make some solid decisions. I guess because we're at the almost at the end of quarter 2 of this year, right? So you had goals for the year, you knew what you wanted to accomplish, and now it's like the rubber needs to meet the road. Decisions have to be made. The reality of your year is like in full steam, and you're sitting there thinking, how the heck am I getting this done? So today, that's what we're talking about. How are you balancing the family and business? For a lot of us, we're looking for balance. And I always put that word in quotes because I don't think it exists. But we're always looking for balance. We have such a hard time and a dilemma trying to figure out how to have both. We instantly believe that we have to juggle. Like, okay, well, parenting, business, this, me, my own self care. We like toss everything up in the air. And when you're doing that, you're absolutely guaranteed to start dropping the balls. So, what is my absolute pro tip on how to manage all of this? And it's really just one major thing. So, I will absolutely share that with you guys. But let me tell you this first. I have been in business for myself. I shouldn't say like I'm by myself because my husband is an entrepreneur and I became an entrepreneur when I married him. I was a stay at home mom and then I started my own business. So these are the things that I wish somebody told me early on because I had small kids at home. I had a new business, my traditional business, and the one that I ran the longest, had the most success with is my bakery. And you can imagine running a bakery with multiple locations. Ultimately, we did also have a franchise. And then I was a franchisee partnering with like Sherry's Berries, fruit bouquets, things like that. That was a lot. There were years for sure, several, where we had lots of employees. Because if you think about it, you got multiple locations, you got all of the kitchen staff, you got your drivers, you got your admin team. Like it very quickly can add up to over 100 people that we were managing in a year. It was just a lot, right? And so you can't allow, well, I felt like I cannot allow the business to fall apart because it wasn't just about me and me having success. This was absolutely about my ability to pay other people, to keep the business running properly, to not disappoint so many people because at this point I now have obligation to fruit bouquets, cherries, berries, to these malls that my stores are located in. The stores have to be open, at least back then, for every hour that the mall is open. So if the mall opens at 9, you need to be there at 9, set up, open, ready for business. If they don't close until 10 o'clock that night, your store has to be open until 10 p.m. Otherwise, there's fines. So the business was going to demand from me everything that it needed because there were so many people relying on me. But then what about my kids, right? What about my husband? What about my house? What about me? That unfortunately became the thing that was easier to neglect because how many times are your kids going to just fire you or not pay you? But the thing that is hard though, as a mom, I know that I'm missing stuff. I know that I'm not being attentive. I know that I haven't spent as much time as I want to spend with my kids. And so, what can you do? So I at least was smart enough, we were smart enough to train people to be managers, to take over large parts of what we had to get done. And therefore, I was responsible for managing all the managers who then went out, managed their stores, managed the kitchen, all those things, the admin, answering the phones. Like all of those things were huge to pass off and to delegate, right? But then where does that leave you, the business owner, trying to create this balance, trying to juggle it all? How do you deal with this dilemma? So over time, I'll tell you for sure, over time, I just really had to learn this skill. And I just hope that you're hearing me today. And don't assume that tomorrow you're going to be excellent at this. This is something you have to learn to do, put in practice, and hold yourself to it. But the big thing that I did was one, I needed my life to be a lot more structured. The reason it was so crazy and chaotic is because that's how I was functioning. I didn't have routines established in my house. I didn't have a lot of routines established in my business. Therefore, I was just constantly running to the squeakiest wheel, putting out the largest fire, handling the most pressing issue instead of having routines. The routines absolutely helped me to structure my business and structure my house, right? So that's not even the pro tip that I'm giving you guys. It is kind of the first thing that you need in order to pull off this pro tip is some structure. And I think I was opposed to it because if I said I was going to do something on a certain day and didn't get it done, that was just more disappointment that I had to deal with. That was another time that I could possibly be letting my kids down. And so I avoided the structure because I felt like it was me taking a hard look in the mirror and realizing you suck. You suck, right? So, what I didn't realize is that structure and organizing and creating the routines was actually going to help me, but I had to invest the time and the energy into making those systems work. So, up front, my systems suck. Up front, my routines suck. Up front, it just all felt terrible. But I understood that as I organized myself, as I structured myself, that I was going to see the benefits, the fruit, the results of being able to do both without pulling my hair out, right? The other thing that is holding you back is making a decision. So many times we are not making a choice and letting things happen to us versus choosing, right? So, for example, in the bakery, if I made a choice, we're going to start at this time, we're going to end at this time, whatever didn't get done has to get done tomorrow, versus let's start at this time, we'll see how it goes, we'll see when it ends. Then my staff is just working at whatever the pace they want. That is not decision making. That's not me being a good manager. That's me just being accommodating, trying to be friendly, trying to be understanding, and also trying to put in place rules like, well, you can't leave until it's all finished. But if I didn't put a time frame on it, when the heck are they going to finish? I learned that they will take as much time as you give them, right? So I had to deal with being a stricter, harsher manager so that I could have an end time, so that I can leave, so that they knew here's the things that have to get done in this shift, and the rest has to get picked up in the morning, right? And systems. How are things going to run? Like we talked about the routines and structure, but it's really about understanding there are certain things that should just happen like clockwork, and you need to document that process. You need to figure out what it takes and systemize it, especially in your business. In your house, if you create systems like how the laundry is getting done, you can teach your kids as they grow up. It's like, okay, well, laundry, whether you're the house that separates every little thing or you throw it in with the laundry pod, whatever it is you do, there is a system involved, right? So here's my pro tip. Here's the thing that I had to learn how to do that was really hard for me. I'm just going to be honest. Um, and that's focus. That's focusing on the thing that I'm doing and not being concerned about all the other things that are happening in my life. So that meant when I was home with my kids, I'm not answering the business phone. I'm not checking the email. I'm not updating anything for anybody. I'm home. This is my time to be home. And my kids started to feel a difference because when mom came home, I was available to you. I didn't come home. I don't have my phone in front of me, but I didn't come home and do this. Oh, let me check this email. Let me do this. Because then I'm never giving them undivided attention ever. Right? The other side, when I'm in the office, I can't be there stressed out about the fact that I'm missing an assembly at school or that I'm not able to show up to a game. I need to focus, keep my head in the game, be present where I am. That was the key. What I used to do was just not only was I not very structured, not only was I not making hard decisions, and not only did I lack great systems, but I also allowed every part of my life to bleed into the other parts of my life. And that was awful. So if I went to go visit my mom, I just sat there and talked about work and all these other things versus just sitting there and enjoying my time with my mother, figuring out how she's doing, seeing her latest craft, talking about whatever she wanted to talk about, and really spending time with her. Instead, I showed up full of, I'm going to say crap, full of the stress of motherhood, full of the stress of running a business, full of everything and just exploding on her, right? And that it wasn't just her, like my friends, anybody. Instead of enjoying and really being present for those moments, I just brought in everything else. Like I needed sympathy for having all these things to balance in my life, or like I wanted a gold star because I was doing something noble, or like, oh, you just have no idea how crazy it is to run a business. My kids are young, and oh my gosh, they need everything. Da 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 da. We do it. So focusing on where you are, actually being present. When I'm home, I'm home. We want to cook dinner together? Perfect. Let's cook something. Let's bake something. Let's watch a TV show. Let's help you with your homework. Let's go outside for a walk. Whatever it is that they needed at that time for me to be present with them, I did that. My husband, oh my gosh, ladies, we neglect the husbands because we figure he's an adult. He'll figure it out. He doesn't need me for sure. But your marriage does. Your marriage is two people. So my husband and I made a rule that we would go on a date, which was already a big deal for us to leave and do something together, or we created dates in the house, but we weren't allowed to talk about work and the kids. off the table, no conversation. And if you had to bring it up, you had to ask for permission, and it could only be talked about for like a few minutes and then done. Because that forced us to talk about how we're doing, how we're feeling, things that we love to do, silly stuff that we've experienced that we don't get to talk about because we're constantly being business owners and being parents. And for a lot of people in my age group, also being caregivers to their parents, right? So it's a lot. Your life is not going to slow down just because it's not all balancing out perfectly. But the thing that you can do is decide, when I am here, I am going to be focused here. What you could do for yourself that'll be a huge solid is start to create the structure that allows you to focus in more deeply and get things done, right? So if you go into your bakery every day and it's a chaotic mess, then you are going to have to focus there, but you're not being as productive. So every day, just take it as a step. I'm going to organize this. This is the way this will be done from now on. Here is where all these supplies will go from now on. Whatever it is that you need to put in place, focus on structure first. Make the firm decisions that you have to make and create systems to support these decisions and this structure that you have decided are necessary. And once you get that in place, and even while you're building it, when you are at work, when you are with your family, when you are with your spouse, when you're by yourself for self care, for anything, focus on the activity at hand. Your kids don't benefit from you being stressed out about them while you're at work, and you're less productive at work because you're thinking about them and all the stuff that they're upset about potentially, right? You could have been way more productive at work, got a lot more stuff done, and then went home and had the time with them, right? So nobody benefits from you allowing your life to bleed all over the place. No one benefits. Your work doesn't benefit, your job, your business, your kids, your spouse. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes being in that life with you in that way. So, what I want you guys to think about is, what is the first thing that I can start to structure in my life? Is it easier for you to start at home? Is it easier for you to start in your business? Pick one area, start to create some structure, start to create some systems there. And no matter where you are, focus on that place, be present, and make the most of your time there. And when you're done, walk away and do the next task. So that's my pro tip. That's how I live now. It is absolutely great for me. Um, because my kids were getting older, I definitely was not going to allow my business to steal more years from my motherhood experience. I don't have that many years left of my kids being in the house. My youngest child is starting high school, you guys. High school. I remember when this child was born. I remember when I found out that she was on her way. And now high school, like, I have 4 more years of her being in my house. My kids absolutely plan to go to college. So I want to make the most of the time that I have with them. And I'm building a business. I'm not going to neglect what I feel purpose to do and my business and those people that I'm helping, the impact that I'm making. Like, all of that is important too. So I'm going to choose that when I show up to my business, I'm going to fully be present there. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to do my best job. And then when I'm with my kids, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be their mother. I'm not going to be the business owner. I'm not going to inform them of every decision I made at work. None of that matters. So, focus is my master pro tip. It has absolutely been great for me. but it also allows me to do the other groundwork that's necessary, like the structure and the systems. So I hope that you guys decide what is that first area that you're going to focus on and structure in your life. I'd love for you to share it with me. Definitely drop it in the comments if you're live with me on Facebook or watching this as a replay. And outside of that, for any of you who want to stay connected to my community, you can absolutely do that. I do have a Facebook group that you can be a part of. You can go to 100kchallengechick.com and it will tell you that you can join the strategy challenge. I teach every month strategy, but that allows you to join the Facebook group where a lot of things happen there. Awesome community of entrepreneurs. So 100kchallengechick.com is where you want to go. Enter your, I think just name and email, and it will give you the link to the private Facebook group. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It is a pleasure, and I really want you to start focusing and being present on wherever you are and make the most of that time and then move on. You guys have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.